Good evening, everyone. How are we on this fabulous evening? It's very warm, isn't it? Right, okay. While I just find you on the Be Crafty page. Because bless her, Sam was late getting in. So I don't want to rely on the fact she's going to be there. So I want to just see if I can find you. But I am here. I am here. I am here. Are you there? Hello, Jan. Hello, Jane. Hello, Steph. Hello, Heidi. Hello, Jane again. Right, okay. I can't find you on my phone. I'm having to stand up. So. Oh, here we go. I think I might have it. Oh, God, that's me.
How are we on this?
Turn that down. Ugh. She's got a voice and a half on her, isn't she? Right. Okie doke. I thought what we would do this evening is do everybody really liked the bee card I did in yesterday's 10 AM show. So she is actually going to the shop, Jan. So what I would like to do is I would like to do one with the big sunflower, because I did obviously the big bee yesterday. So I'll do the big sunflower today. And then, you know, we can have a play and whatever. So what I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using one of the Dilutions journaling tags. Now, these have just come in, so I've added these to the website today. These are the mixed media surface. There are 3 surfaces, okay. So we have, let me get my really big ones to show you as well. So they have the mixed media surface, which is this one. And then they also have, I can't ever find the opening from the packet. That's because it's at the top, not the bottom. Okay, so they also have the craft. Okay, so this is number 10. This is number 12. That's how they do the sizes. Okay, but they also do in black as well. So they're in 3 separate ones. I do very much love the number 12s, but they is big. They are big. They are beautiful. They are lovely. But tonight we're going to be working on a number 10. So yeah, I've added all the tags to the website this afternoon. In between packing and whatever. So have you all had a lovely Tuesday? You all had a lovely Tuesday? It's been quite a nice sunny day, hasn't it? Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to rotate my tag. The reason being, it's just easier. Like I always say, with a big stamp, it's easier to do it this way than twist yourself that way. Even more so if you're sat down, like I am right now. Okay, so I'm going to take my Versafine Onyx Black. We were talking about this yesterday. Your favourite black ink pad is very similar to your favourite pair of scissors. I mean, us crafters are weird in many wonderful ways. But in terms of our favourite ink pad and our favourite pair of scissors, that's where we really start to take the cake. Okay, so, ooh, cake. Sorry, distracted. So we're going to put, this is the XL Sunflower. Okay, which is so beautiful. It's absolutely fantastic. Okay, and there we go. That is our XL Sunflower on there. Actually, you're absolutely right. I've kind of jumped ahead in a way and just assumed you were all able to tune in yesterday, and I'm really sorry about that. A bit rude. So yesterday, we launched 2 new doodle art sets on Hochanda. Okay, we launched the bee and the sunflower. Okay, so we've got 2 new sets in the doodle art. These are available in both sizes. The small bee has sold out on Hochanda, I'm sorry. But the big one in the big sunflower and the small sunflower, there is still some of that left. So if you, and they're on our website too. So whether you prefer to buy on Hochanda or on the Be Crafty website, we really don't mind. It's, you know, whichever you feel you like to do is absolutely fine by us. But these are the new No, the 2 new sets. And we've also done the coloured in backgrounds on these ones as well. Okay, so you've got those if, you know, you're struggling mojo wise, or you just need a bit of a kickstart, or kick up the bum for me generally, or you just, you know, just want to have a little go at being led somewhere a little bit more. That's absolutely fine too, and we're totally cool with that. Alright, so sorry for jumping ahead. Bit rude. Right, so I'm going to go back. So we're using, so this is the Doodle Art Sunflower XL. So what I've done is I've put him in the middle of my number 10 tag. So this is the number 10 mixed media tag. Okay, and then I'm going to get a smaller block because I'm going to start adding in the other elements. Okay, so I'm going to take, this is where I tell you to ignore in a way everything we've ever told you about stamping, because for this bit I do generally go straight to my VersaFine. Okay, so I'm going to put some little paint splats on there, or pollen as Mr. Bradford called them yesterday. I'm going to get some other elements as well. I think I might actually go also to some of the original 4, because there's a couple of bits on there I really want to use. My favourite being on the bird is these circles here. I absolutely love them. I'll use them on everything given the chance, to be honest, because they're so cool. Okay, so actually while I'm stamping, I'm just going to get a scrap piece of card, because I don't want to get all VersaFine on my mat that I have cleaned. You know, miracles happen every day. Bev has cleaned her blending mat. Shock horror, boys and girls. Okay, and then I'm going to take this beautiful sort of, I'm not even sure what I would call it, because like I was just doodling when I did it, but this border here, and you can see it's got sort of circles that are solid and circles that are just a circle, and so on and so forth. So you can put little coloured dots in those if you want. There's loads you can do. So I'm just going to take that, and basically I'm just going to ink it up as far as I can on my ink pad, because I find it quicker this way, and therefore I'm less likely, you're going to laugh at me here, I'm less likely to pause and think about what I'm doing, because I don't want to pause and think about what I'm doing. I just want to get some different elements onto the tag. Okay, let me just have a little, she never cleans, oh there's Sammy, she never cleans mine when she uses it on her Chanda. True facts, people, true facts. Okay. So, we're going to put those on there, and then I think I'm just going to add in, because these are possibly going to turn into my new favourite little doobry. This is on the Sunflower set too. Some of them are solid, and some of them are not. And they're just fun. They're just a fun thing to add in. Which is the name of the game, isn't it? I'm not a paint klepto, and do you know what else she is? She's a pen klepto. Pen klepto. If you have a nice pen, and Sam Green is about, you might want to hang on to that sucker, because she will steal it. Right. So, what I'm gonna do is I've stamped in VersaFine, and like Sam was saying, I don't clean, so I've now got black bits on my fingertips, so I'm actually just going to give them a wipe off. But before we colour, I'm also going to heat set the VersaFine. Okay, VersaFine is a fantastic ink. It picks up all the details, so if you're using a Doodle Art stamp like this, they are really, really good. And in fairness, even things in the other things in the art stamps range, like Sam's Dragon, the VersaFine is particularly good for that, because it picks up all the detail. But because it's oil based, it also means you can watercolour, etc. with it. and use your alcohol pens too. So there's loads you can do. Okay. Sorry, I still have my loud heat gun in my craft room. So, Steph, you have a unicorn pen? Hide it. Hide it, my love. Okay. So it's nothing too major. I'm just going to heat it from the back, flatten it back down. Now, the really cool thing, would you prefer me to do it sideways so it sits on top of the comments a bit? Would that be better? I can, she says, full of confidence. So what I can do is I can just put my colours down here. It's up to you guys. I really don't mind. Okay. It is loud. It's my old blue one. My old blue one. It's an oldie but a goodie. But yeah, I still use it in my craft room. I have the quieter one for when I'm on telly, so you can hear me. So I can heat and talk at the same time. So yes, I should get it out when I'm here. Hey, I cleaned my mat. I can't be expected to do it all. Dagnammit. Right. Okay. So the other essential crafting tool we like to have is the Versa Claire. In all honesty, I haven't had to play with because it's a pigment ink. That's a lie. I borrowed it once off Julia Watts, but I haven't actually had it to play with at the minute. So I am going to get some in, and then I'll be able to give you a bit more feedback after that. So this is also one of my favourite tools to have. Okay, this is a tea towel, long destroyed by paint. It is actually clean. This is it fresh out of the washing machine. Okay, but it's an excellent thing to have because you can wipe off anything and you don't end up with like an inordinate amount of baby wipes. Good for the planet as well and all that jazz. Right, so I have a pot of water and a brush. And yes, I know you can fill these brushes with water, but you know, for whatever reason, this is how I do. So I'm just going to go in. So I've stamped some oxides just onto my blending mat here. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I can do sideways. I have gone a little bit. Here we go. Is that okay? Is that okay? Right. The thing is, there's a bit of a delay from what I can see when you're posting. Okay, so I'll try my best to follow you. But if I'm a bit of a delay, it's not because I'm daft, I promise. It's because my phone's a little bit behind. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go in with our colours and start adding in some different colours all around the outside. Just watercolouring them in. You can also, you know, you can add it. Now this is what is great about using these tags. Okay, because these are the media tags from Ranger. They're now under the Dilutions banner. But if you're getting them on our website, it's just under Ranger surfaces, I think, tags, etc. I've put on there. So you can literally, but if you find your colours are getting a bit muddy, I just dip in the water, wipe it off on my towel, back in the water, back to my purple, and there you go. My wilted violet is once again wilted violet. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going in around. And it's one of these things. I'm using oxides right now, but you can use a combination of oxides and distress ink, or you can just use distress ink, or you know, whichever is your preferred colour at the minute. We don't mind either way because we like them all. And if you did catch the shows yesterday, you will have seen Sammy was quite fond of Lou's new paint palette. This is actually taking me longer than it normally does, and I think it's because I didn't mist on top of the ink. You know, I keep being sure that I've turned the sound off on my phone, and then it keeps talking to me. Versafine is the best. I think it is. I think it is, Heidi. But, you know, I'm never one to say this is the best and that's the way it's going to be forever, because, you know, we get new products in, don't we, all the time. New things become available. And sometimes the way we use a product, it changes. So, you know, that's why it can change what our favourite is, because we've changed what we're using or what we're using it for. Which can alter what we think. There we go. Needs a bit more colour. So you can see I'm being really, really careful. Or not. I'm just laying some colour down. Okay. So really try not to give it too much thought or worry. You know, if you want the colour to move around a little bit more, on the mixed media tags, you can even spritz them first. And then when you go on with your water, it's really, really fluid. You can see like that's moving there. So you've got both of those ways. And when it dries, it will dry flat again. So, you know, you do have, with this, both those ways of using it. And that's what I like about this cardstock. It's really cool. And then we're going to go in. Oh, that's made a bit of mud. That's alright. I'm going to come in with a bit of blue. I'm going to come down there. You get these lovely sort of shaded bits, which is awesome. I'm going to come in that side with a bit of this purple. There we go. So you can see you've got all this texture coming together. And that's just by watery colouring. Watery colouring? We'll go with it. With your inks. I know I made a bit of a gushy post about it yesterday, but I will say again, thank you to everybody who tuned in. We had a great day. It was such good fun. I'm quite a lucky duck, really, getting to do this during the day. It was the chair. Okay, so I'm going to come in with a bit more yellow down the bottom. I think we need a bit more of our mustard seed down there and in there. I've used quite a lot of colours. I'd intended to do it sort of like a bluey purple, but it's gone a bit more super zingy, which I quite like, actually. I am going to start doing some videos which aren't lives, that are pre-records, because in all honesty, the lives is actually, Dave's put me up these fantastic new lights. I think I told you about them last time, and the lives don't pick them up when I'm recording just on my tablet. Honestly, the lighting here is really, really good. And when I'm just on my tablet light on the camera, it comes up really, really well. But as soon as I switch Facebook Live on, it just goes a bit rubbish. So I'm just going round, adding in a little bit more colour, maybe where I want some. So for example, I haven't really got any now, but if you've got a seam and you're like, right, I'm going to put some in there. Oh, right, so you see this has got a little sort of pale spot here. So if I want to add some yellow in, I'll go and put that in. But if you're thinking, right, well that hasn't particularly blended very well, just get some more of your water, go around the edge, and you can see it's pooling into there as well. So it sort of brings it all together, and which is a bit awesome. So you can just get, but you know me, I will sit and I will tinker with all these little bits for ages because it's fun and I like to. There we go. I'm going to bring a bit more of my wilted violet in here, a bit more around there. That is, I think, the background done. And this background is sort of gone a bit alcohol inky, really. Actually, when I look at it, that's what I see. Hang on, I'm just going to grab my towel. Don't all be horrified at me. If I'm just sat in here crafting, I promise I don't mop all the ink away. I would put something else on it. But this is a slightly different situation. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to put that on there, and I'm just going to dab off any excess. Okay, And then earplugs in, because the heat tool is going back on, okay? Okay, so there we are. So that is the tag with all the colours on. Okay, and you can see how they just sort of blend in and sort of all mesh together to be absolutely beautiful. And that's what we're after, okay? So you can wickedly do that. Right, on to the next. Okay, so next we're going to start colouring the sunflower. Okay, we're going to do the big bit first. And what I actually might do, we'll do that for the leaves actually. I'm going to bring in, oh here we go, I'm going to bring in some regular distress ink, because basically to prove my point, I'm a woman, I love doing that, that you can use them both together, and they're really, really pretty. Okay, so first of all, I've got an air bubble in my mister. There we go. Okay. And effectively, same sort of thing, okay? We're just going to go in, we're going to watercolour our gorgeous petals. Okay, I'm not sideways now. I've got to be honest, it really sort of freaked me out. I struggled. But because the, obviously the sunflower head's at the top, I can hold it at the bottom and do it this way. So we've got our sunflower here. I do hope Mum and Sam are there answering your questions, because for once, I'm actually really concentrating on what we're trying to do now. And, you know, so I'm hoping they're helping out where they can. But like I said, I know Sam's been quite late back, so I don't know. Okay, so we're going to put that in there. All right. I will say, with the mixed media tags and the distressed media cardstock that's on the website as well, it comes across quite white, both here and the pictures that Ranger have got of the product, but it's actually more manila-y. It's whiter than manila, but it's not white, if that makes sense. I'll see if I can show you a difference in a minute. Okay, so I'm putting some orange on. So this is the Distress Ink Ripe Persimmon. So you can see it's quite, one of a better description is it's exceedingly vibrant next to the watercoloured oxide, which, because of that chalky hue to it, it can be a little bit more muted. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take a bit more water, right, and then I'm going to go back into my mustard seed oxide. We're just going to water over the join. Okay, and then those two are going to blend together so beautifully. So this is why when people say, oh, now you've got the oxides, do you still use your distress? Absolutely, and I use them together, because you can get such a wonderful change in texture. So for example on this, you know, you've got the softness of the outer petals, of the outer side end of the petals, with the vibrancy of the the inner, and by using your ink with your oxides, you know, you've made that happen. And look, you've got beautiful sort of watercolour shading that you didn't really have to do much to happen. Okay, so where's my trusty towel? It's fallen on the floor, I think. It has. I can't reach. There we go. Okay. So if you just take off the excess. See, like I say, it's really far behind. Oh, sorry, wobbled on there. So you've got, you know, the lovely shading on the petals there. Really, really easy to create. Right, let me just have a quick look at the comments. I noticed you used a Studio Light palette yesterday on Shanda. Would you recommend that? Sam definitely would. She was most begrudgingly had to give it back. I have Inktense blocks, and I absolutely adore them. I really do. I think they're absolutely wonderful things. I do primarily watercolour with my oxides though if I'm just going on cardstock. My oxides or Distress Ink if I'm just going on cardstock, like the tags. But the Studio Light palette, no, it's really, really good. It is good. If you were looking for something more that you wanted to do, you know. And yes, Sam didn't borrow them. She totally half-inched them. I'm going to say, right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ripe persimmon, that's still on my mat, and I'm actually going to mix it in with the mustard seed that's left over. Okay, and that's going to give me a really nice sort of softer orange to use in the petals at the back. Okay, so this is, I used to be, believe it or not, ladies and gents, a really, really neat crafter. I was a scrapbooker. And everything had to be even, and everything had to be symmetrical and level and all this sort of thing. It honestly, it used to give me the nose twitch if it wasn't all balanced. I've got to be honest, I still wasn't very good at white space. I used to fill it with stamped backgrounds and pattern papers and all this sort of thing. But I did. But yeah, I was a very, very neat crafter. And then the first time I started using ink sprays, that was it. It was all over. Because you can't make it do anything. You know, you can ask it nicely and hope it says yes. You can't make it do anything. So before I wipe up my excess ink, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to colour a couple of the other elements, and that way I'm not wasting it all. Okay, but again, if you decide, well, in fact I wouldn't mind adding in a little orangey bit down there, you can do that. And then to get it to blend, just back into your water, go down the edge. It's sort of like a nice sort of orange shadow then going around the leaf. So there's so many ways you can do it, and it's just, this is the thing, and this is why you see me working on the Ranger tags so much, because if I change my mind and add in then more water or more product or whatever, they'll sort of hold up to it quite well, which is what we like. So on the still moving on from the same theme of using both Distress Ink and oxide together, I'm going to take some pine needles, and I want a sort of like a lighter, well, here we go, a cracked pistachio. Now these, in fairness, they are very different greens of the colour palette, but that's okay. And what we actually might do is throw in, because that mustard seed is sort of running through the entire tag, we might keep that going. Okay, I've definitely got an air bubble in my mister. It's probably because it's been rolling around my bag since yesterday. I've got a mini mister. Whee. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. So I'll put put my towel down now. Oh, here we go. I'm going to go in and I'm going to use, okay, a little bit of mustard seed down the centre. Then I'm going to go cracked pistachio down the side. So this, honestly, is like watercolouring for dummies. It's, because trust me, I couldn't do proper watercolouring. I have seen people do it and they're so talented. And I know that that is something that is beyond my inkable reach, I have to say. Okay. So, there we go. So, we've got the yellow and the cracked pistachio on there. But I think it needs more of a kick. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go in. I'm going to go in with a bit of cracked pistachio mixed with the pine needles. Okay, and we're going to come down the outer edge. I'm actually going to go to that line. That's a nice thing. There's a couple of lines and you can choose which one you're going to follow. More importantly, if you choose the inner one and you miss, there's usually a couple of outer ones that you can say that's the one you were heading for the whole time. Anyway, and then again, that line's a bit hard. It's a bit of a harsh line, so I'm just going to go over it with a water brush with a little bit of mustard seed on. Absolutely boom. That's a bit of a white dot there. A white space, and I don't want that. No, I don't. Right, I need a bit of water. Water! Okay. Right, so you can see it's really starting to come together. Okay? Lots of different colours. Lots of space and time. So we're going to take, again, a bit of our mustard seed, because it's on our mat. And we don't want to waste any more ink than we have to. Okay, I'm going to go in with my cracked pistachio. And do another one. I mean, if you have the time, effectively you can get all the colours of your palette out and really have a play. So, I did see Jan Loughran shout at me briefly. Grab a tag and mop it up. So, don't ever let it be said I don't listen to you. Because I am trying to watch. So, crusty pistachio. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. There was something the other day, me and Sam were talking, and honestly, it was like I just couldn't get my teeth straight. It was hilarious. Well, for anybody listening to me, it was hilarious. For me, it was like, oh, crikey, I really am going. Or I'm gone. Right. Next, I want a really bright pink. Now, I actually don't have cracked pistachio, not cracked pistachio. See, you've got me on that now. I don't have picked raspberry in oxide. So, do I have it in a big? No. Oh, I do have one lipstick in a distress ink. That could work. Okay. So, I'm going to take my one lipstick. Not my one lipstick. That could be taken several different ways, couldn't it? Really could. So, I'm going to take my one lipstick. And this is where, actually, I'm going to go for my precision brush. Sam yesterday, she said to me, I don't have any paintbrushes with me. She's got to pick up her paintbrushes. And I said, that's okay. I have my paintbrushes. I said, you can use any of them. I said, and in fairness, you can steal most of them if you feel the need. See, so I knew she was a thief then. I said, the only one she's not allowed to steal is this one. It's super dinky on the end. So if I'm doing something like this, and I want to, so I think I've overspritzed. So if I want to paint something like this, this is my ideal brush, you see. See? It's brill. So I said that's the only one she wasn't allowed to steal. If she took the rest, it would be fine. But she wasn't allowed to steal this one. So I'm just going to go in. I'm going to cover my little hearts. And the border. So this is one of the borders that's on the sunflower set. I went a bit out that one. That's okay. Okay. And I think we need to add in a little bit of red in there. Pink even. A little bit of pink in there. And in there. Okay. So we are now really starting to crackle, which is really good. So that's not dry. So I am going to mop up. There you go. Right. So we've actually only got a couple of more bits to add now. We've got to do the centre of our sunflower, and we've got a couple of more bits to add in the circles. But what, in fairness, what I might do in the circles is grab some watercolour pencils or something like that, because they're quite quick. Just to show you. But so we need to do the middle of our sunflower. So I'm going to take the rusty hinge, the gathered twigs, so you can see how much thought I put into this, and maybe aged mahogany, or walnut stain. I don't really know. And we'll probably put a bit of carved pumpkin in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because I know this is obviously a small area, I'm just going to use the edges of the ink pad just to put just a little dash of colour onto my blending mat, and then basically what I'll do is I'll make it work with what I have out, so I don't have to add any more milk. I seriously just nearly took a drink from that water pot. Honestly, I was ridiculously close. Right. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go in, we're going to start in the centre of this one, okay? So we're going to go in with our carved pumpkin, and then some rusty hinge on the outside. The nice thing is, if you're not sure about blending them together, start with, just draw a circle round with your paintbrush, and then we'll worry about blending them in after. Okay. I actually want a bit of a darker line around the outside. So I actually might leave that to dry just a sec. Okay, and then so this bit you could leave white if you wanted to, or the manila, or you can mix a couple of your colours together and just sort of go round the outside. Is what I'm going to do. Okay, and then just spritz some water onto your mat, and then literally paint around the inside, and then the water will drag in the colour that's there without you having to do anything. Okay, but what I'm going to do, see this is dry now, but I really do want a stronger, darker line around the middle. Oh, this is so much fun. We'll have to do another one when everybody gets their stamps. We can do it all together because it's so much fun. Okay, so that is us nearly finished painting. Okay, so what I'm just going to quickly do is I'm just going to quickly grab some watercolour pencils that I've got, which I would say the kids have been in because they're not all here. Thanks for that. Right, and the reason I'm going to use these quickly is just so I can quickly add in the colour to these remaining circles, and then we can crack on, because we've still got a few bits to it that I want to add. Okay, we'll do a blue there and a blue there, and then we'll turn it around and we'll do a blue in here, and maybe a nice citrus green and a purple. Okay, so this is why I will use, this is when people say, oh, what, you know, what mediums do you use? I use Distress mostly because you can do so much with it. It's you know, it's really versatile. I can stamp with it, I can whatever. But that's not to say I won't use it at other things, especially if I want to do something a bit quicker, and I know it will be quicker. Okay, so we'll just watercolour that round, watercolour that round. Okay, so in terms of colouring in the tag as it is, you know, we are pretty much done. Okay, so earplugs back in. So that is us finished watercolouring. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our stamps, okay, and we're going to start using some of the elements we were using before, but this time we're going to stamp them with our Distress ink, okay. So I'm going to go in with, for example, our heart stamp, okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it in, for example, the carved pumpkin. Okay, and this is where I will say I do predominantly reach for my oxides. The reason being is because you can layer the colours. You can layer an orange on top of a blue, and you'll see it. That's the main reason, not for any other reason than that. Okay, so these is so those lovely ink splats that you get on your sunflower. I'm going to go in and I'm going to start adding them in effectively all over, okay, in lots of different colours, because I just think it gives great texture. It looks really good, and it's really good fun. Just adding in paint splats, but in a reasonably controlled way. Anything that allows me to add paint splats, but in a controlled way, in my opinion, is a good thing. I did have my big bird set earlier, didn't I? That I robbed the circles off. What I'm also going to do, take off here, is these little straight lines. So it's these here, okay. These were actually requested to be added on to a set, because if you've seen me demo, to be honest, here or at shows or on Hachanda, you'll see I used to use the edge of my Dinkables to draw lines. And a lady said to me, I really like doing it, but when I add them to a project, I want to be able to repeat the pattern. And I can't, because I can't get it to look exactly the same. Will you be adding them to a set? To which I was like, yes, I will, I can do that. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add on some more of these lines. And you really, this is where it's a good job you're here, because it means I will stop, because I do get carried away. Okay. So now we have our tag with all of this background detail on. And the first time I did one of these, someone asked me if I masked it, which no, I didn't. I didn't mask it. Okay, now I am looking for my white pen. Okay, so this is the Ranger White Opaque pen. We have had to completely give up on Sharpie with regards to their white pen. They don't respond to emails, begging, pleading, nothing basically. So I've bought in some of the Ranger ones. It's a rollerball, so you know it is just a rollerball pen. So what I will say is, Bev's top tip on this one is just make sure your project's really dry, okay, and then you'll be able to go on and add all the detail you want. If you're not sure about it, the other alternative, because we're all looking for a good elusive white pen, the other alternative is the White Dilutions paint pen. Okay, so you've got different options there. This is more of a, you know, where you have to pump the nib. Okay, both are really good. Totally up to you. Okay, so let me just grab a piece of something so we can get that moving. Marvellous. So this is where I'll go round my project. Just adding in, you know, where some doodling is good, more doodling is even better. And I think that's the nice thing with these stamps. The way I've drawn them, you can't actually overdo it. If you want to add more in, great. If you don't. You really don't have to. You know, there were some beautiful samples by the DT that you can see on the Be Crafty Stamps group where they've just used a sunflower and left the back completely blank. I say that as I didn't finish it, but it looks absolutely gorgeous because the stamp does just hold its own. So you see, you've got little white details then on your petals. Okay, and then I'm going to add a few more into, remember I said there were some gaps in here. Then I'll put just some random ones up here. And then I'll add some, as daft as it sounds, on top of the black bits as well. So I'll go around and add on white. So, you know, you'll see a lot of people online saying the white Ranger pen doesn't work. But in fairness, if your project is completely dry, so for example, if you were using your journal, your Dilutions journal, for example, and you wanted to use your white paint on it, if you were painting in the journal or using your ink sprays, I wouldn't do your white pen until the next day if you're using this pen. But once what you're doing is completely dry, in fairness, you can see it shows up lovely white. You know, it works absolutely lovely for just adding in detail. For what I use it for anyway. You know, I can't speak for everybody, can I? But yeah, for what I use it for, it's wicked. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to go add a bit more here. What it also means is if you've gone over the stem here and you really want all these white bits to be white, you can just go and fill them back in. If you've gone over a couple of them, say with your watercolouring. Okay, now this is where I really can just go on putting little white dots on everywhere, and I'll go in like with a black doodle pen as well and add in swirlies and all sorts of, you know, whatever, because I just like to play. It's what I like to do. It's so good. But you know, you might get bored, just sitting watching me add in dots. Okay, so let's for 1 minute assume that I have finished messing. Okay, which would be a miracle within itself. What I do like to do is, even when I'm doing tags, especially bright colour ones like this, I do like to lay them up on black. Okay, now this is quite a big tag. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick it on some black card. Okay. And then we'll put one down the middle as well, actually. So it's nice and flat. Okay, so I know a lot of you were waiting for, just while you're watching me pick this off, because I can't find my pokey tool, I know a lot of you are waiting for the alcohol inks. Now, they have arrived, but obviously I've been busy packing all your orders today. So, I have only added on the alcohol pearls to the website. The rest will be added on soon. But if it was the alcohol pearls specifically that you were waiting for, they are there. Okay. So, I'll put this tag. So this is how I layer. Okay. I'll take whatever it is I'm laying, and I'll put it. So this is when people ask me measurements. I don't really know. So I'll put my layer, my top layer on, and I'll stick it onto there. And then I've only got to cut those two sides, and I know it's the right size. Okay. So that's how I do it anyway. This is the thing, you know, me and Sam are very careful. Me and Sam and I, whichever you prefer. We're very careful when we're demoing not to say that this is the way to do something. What we always say is, this is the way we do this, or this is the way Bev does this, or Sam does this, or whatever. Because it basically, it is. It's the way we do it. If you have a way you like, I remember at a show, a lady said to me, oh, I know everybody prefers VersaFine, but I prefer archival. I said, then use your archival, darling. If that's what you like, you crack on. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. I'm just here to tell you what I do. That's, you know, and that's a completely different thing. Okay. So you can see the layering it up on black really does make it just pop out. My crocodile just fell down. Really does make it pop out. Okay, so from there, we're going to add on some bits from my board, because I've still got some left from yesterday. So we're going to go, here we go. You laugh at me. Just, I could leave that at that, couldn't I? You laugh at me, because I know a lot of you do. Because I'm different. Here you go. I laugh at you. Because you're all the same. See, that doesn't apply to you, bunch. You're all very, very different. Okay. So, and then from there, I'm going to take some of these lovely little glossy accented flowers that I cut out from the XLB set. On here. I'll put them. Yeah, I'll put 3 on. I can't put 2 on. That would just be weird. Okay, and then I'm going to go into my lovely little ribbon bucket. And it literally is a ribbon bucket. Do you want to see? It's like, you know, like the paint pail things with big wheels of ribbon satin in for doing this job. And then we're going to go into our tag. And boom. Right. I'm just going to quickly check for something. See if I've got... Aha! I do. Marvellous. Marvellously magnificent. Okay. So, this is the tag, obviously, that we have just made. Okay. This is the card I made in yesterday afternoon show. Okay, in the 2 o'clock show. So you can see here that I have left some more of the white space. I've added in some of the stamps and not really, you know, done that full mess of colour, which is absolutely fantastic. You know, you can see that it looks good both ways. Looks great with all the colour, looks great with the white space. You can do both. But in terms of size, so you can get a good scale. Okay, so this is a tag I've made in a similar way. Not with quite as much on. So this is the Sunflower Regular, and this is the Sunflower XL. Okay, but you saw it quickly. Don't be intimidated by the big size of it, because it is so easy. It's so much fun to do. So in terms of size of the tags as well, if that helps, this is a size 10. This is a size 8, I believe. Okay, so you've got so you can see, but I mean, I do think this would look beautiful on one of the big size 12s. Why is that spinning round? So, let me move that over a little bit. Thank you so much for joining in and being here. Sorry I didn't read more of your comments, but I really wanted to just concentrate on the task at hand this evening anyway. So these are two. So please, when you get your sunflower home or your bee home, or if you bought some of the original ones, the bird, the dragonfly, because would you like to see my other tags? And this is just one of these things. It proves how much I like to do this. Okay, because you know for a fact I didn't sit and prep all these before I did a live. If you know me at all. Okay. So, it was the chair. So we've got the sunflowers we've just done. Okay, but we've also got, so that is the flower off the XL bird. That's the little bird off the regular bird, but the big flower. That's the dragonfly, both the XL and the regular. Butterfly, XL and regular. And that gorgeous girl's face. So you can see, you know, you can use this technique with all these doodle art stamps. And it's so much fun. So much fun. So please, have a go with your doodle art stamps. And definitely please show me what you've shown me, show Sam, show any of us, all of us, on the Bee Crafty Stamps group what you've been making, because we would absolutely love to see it. Okay, have a great rest of your evening, guys. Thank you so much for joining me.